Going all in, getting flued out, yeah, you can bring a friend. Dive right in, let's go. No more than dip in your toe. Let the rhythm take control. It's going down tonight, yeah. Dive right in, let's go. No more than dip in.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dane from NyynewsTV. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Heat Sheet Podcast. Carlos is my co-host. You guys know him better as Yankees Farm Online. Carlos, how you doing, bud?
Good. How you doing today, Dane?
Awesome. So we wanted to get started today with a couple of big names. We want to talk about Jones and Dominguez and how the numbers are telling one story. And if you take a little deeper look, they're also saying something completely different. So tell us about Jasson, his last week, 10 games, and what's going on there.
He's on an 11 game on base streak right now, and during that 11 game on base streak, he's hitting 282, 3 extra base hits, 2 home runs. So he's been pretty good though over those last 11 games that he's been on base.
He has been a lot better, and he's drawing walks still. He's stealing bases. And you talked to a scout this week who was talking about his approach. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
It's basically that while he's making a lot more, he's striking out a lot more. It's because he's being a little bit more selective, where he's just basically said that he's not going to chase pitches. He knows where the pitches lay that he wants to hit, and he's not going to chase after them, and that's leading to a lot of he's taking strike threes because of those.
Right. What I was told is that his swing decisions, he's not chasing something that's not his pitch, that he'll let a strike go by if he doesn't think he can hit it hard. That's a very professional approach, especially for a 20-year-old power hitter. I mean, his strikeout rate and walk rate were about 1-to-1 earlier in the season. His strikeouts have gone up. What are they, about 26%?
Yeah, they're about 25%, I believe.
25%.
Yeah, there's a slight uptick in the strikeouts.
But as you said, that he's taking more and more pitches. What's his walk rate at?
Don't have the walk rate right in front of me right now. Last I know it was about 18%. I could double check it.
Okay. But I know that he had like 51 or 52 walks in 54 games or something like that. Pretty close.
He's at 42 walks, 50 Ks in the season.
No, how many games has he played?
Oh, how many games has he played? I don't have the games in front of me.
I'm pretty sure it's close to 50, and that's about. Anyway, the walk rate isn't bad for what kind of hitter he is. But conversely, you jump to Spencer Jones, and you see Spencer Jones' offensive numbers. He's hitting, 275 or ish. He's got 17 doubles, 9 home runs, I believe.
He's at 27 extra base hits.
27 extra base hits.
Yeah, I believe that leads the league.
Yeah, and RBIs, I know he's in the top 5 in his league for RBIs. He's got double-digit stolen bases. But when you get a deeper look at those numbers, you see the strikeout rate is high. It's 34%.
I think it's actually 35.
Straight 35. I mean, that's concerning. Versus his walk rate is about 4 point something percent. How many walks does he have on the season?
On the season, Jones is at 13 walks.
Yeah, see, that's just not enough. That's where I think Jasson Dominguez, because of his approach, should go up to AAA, and Jones needs to stay in high A to fix that. I don't know if he...
Hold on one second. In regards to Jasson Dominguez, we were both wrong. He's actually walking at 20.4%.
Okay.
And the strikeout rate is 24.3.
So it's real close. And that's what you really want to see from a power hitter, especially one that's 20 years old. Right. In AA, if you are striking out and walking at a close rate, that's really a good sign for your future success. And Jones, what do you think that they need to do with Spencer Jones?
I mean, Spencer Jones' issue right now, what I feel is that he's probably still in that I can hit everything mode, where he's not being as selective as he should be. He needs to be a little bit more selective in where his zone is. I mean, sure, he knows what it is, but being that he doesn't have the plate discipline of like a Jasson, he's not getting the pitches that are in his happy zone, and he's basically chasing.
Right, he's chasing a lot, but when he's putting the bat on the ball, he's obviously getting extra base hits.
Yeah,
he needs to refine his approach to where he's waiting for a pitch that he can hit hard, not just swinging at anything, because he's hit everything that's been thrown at him since he's been in Vandy.
I mean, and like I said, like we spoke about this before. If the plate discipline is something that he can't address, then pitchers are just not going to give him anything to hit, and that's going to lead to him expanding the zone, and he's just going to continue to chase. So he's got to reel it back a little bit more. And once he does that, he'll start getting a lot better pitches to hit. And I mean, if he's doing what he's doing right now, chasing, I mean, sky's the limit.
And we also wanted to talk about Oswald Peraza, Estevan Florial, and Ben Rortvedt, who are all in AAA. And I don't understand why those guys are not on the major league roster. They all have 300 averages. They all have OPSs of 980 or better.
Well, Oswald himself comes off another good week. He hit 300, 419 OBP. It was 1127 OPS this week. 5 extra base hits, 4 home runs. He had a great May. Played 13 games in May. He hit 386, 1321 OPS with 9 home runs in the month. I mean, that's as hot as it can get.
Yeah, it is as hot as you can get. And we're hearing a lot about him being potentially a trade chip.
Mm-hmm.
I, as you know, I have been a huge Peraza guy for a couple of years now, and I don't want to see them trade him. I am convinced he either needs to be at third base or shortstop. But if they feel they get to the deadline and they suddenly feel they are one piece away, one big piece, would you go out and trade Peraza for a closer that we really need?
I don't know, because I'm a prospect hugger.
So am I.
Yeah, I don't want to sacrifice the future for the immediate satisfaction of getting a closer who, I mean, there's really even no guarantee, because as what we've seen from the Yankees the last couple of years, they have issues on offense when they get into the playoffs. For some reason, the bats just go cold. So I don't know. I don't know. I would be hesitant to say, because I know it would be more than just Peraza.
Yeah, but he's also the kind of bat that I think is going to have success in a playoff atmosphere. He's got a level swing. His strikeout rate is 15%, 16% this year. He's not striking out.
About that. Mm-hmm.
He's putting the bat on the ball. He's got the speed. He has the tools to help this club, even not hitting home runs. It just doesn't make any sense not to have him up. And then you got Florial. If Judge is hurt, you have to give Flo a shot.
I mean, Flo came off another pretty good week. He hit 292 this week, 808 OPS, 4 extra base hits, stole a base, and he walked. I mean, he's been doing it all season long. He's been doing it all season long. I we've said this before. I don't know why he's not getting the opportunity. Again, we're not saying he is the answer, but it's worth a look just to see what he can do.
If Judge is out, IKF is literally your best center field option right now. Flo is a legitimate center fielder that can play center field with some of the best of them defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you run a guy who's never played the position until this year out in center field and say, oh, this is a championship caliber roster? My ass.
I mean,
It
IKF, I think he had a few key hits last week, IKF. And judging by all the highlight reels that he did make, I looked up his numbers and I was like, wait a minute, he still hit like 240 for the week. He just had key
right.
hits at key moments. I, I don't want to see those adventures out in the outfield from him, even from Bowers. And I know Bowers is hot right now, but I mean,
Bowers
the
makes
bat is
a really
the
nice
bat. It
bet.
makes sense. The bat makes sense, but there's adventures in the outfield with him.
And IKF, they both IKF almost got in a collision with, was it Greg Allen a couple days ago before he got hurt, or somebody? I mean, he's almost run
Bader.
over. Oh yeah, he's almost run over 3 or 4 guys out there. I just don't have the confidence in him right now when they have a Florial. And then we get into Rortvet. Why wouldn't you want his bat in the lineup when you're not getting anything from Trevino and Higgy offensively?
To me, it was frustrating that they called him up when he was hitting well down in Scranton, and I think I saw him play one game. I don't know if it was 2.
I think he got into 2 games.
Yeah, but he got pinch hit in the second game after he was like, he had back-to-back walks to open the game, and then he got pinch hit for
after that big double and that.
No, we're in the second game. In the second game, he was 0 for 2 with 2 walks, and Boone pinched hit him with Bowers because he said he wanted him to get on base. Which,
right.
Doesn't make sense to me because Bowers hasn't been a guy who walks a lot. So I don't understand the move at all.
Has Bowers taken 2 walks all year? I haven't seen him.
I don't know. But like I said, the move made no sense to me. It made absolutely no sense to me. But
no,
it's Boone.
It didn't. Any other big issues we want to touch on? Do we want to touch on trade chips?
I mean, as far as sticking to the guys at Scranton, I mean, Peraza and Floria should both be on the major league roster. Floria at least is a 4th outfielder. I'd rather see him, at least in the 8th and 9th inning to replace whoever Bowers or IKF out while they're out there.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Rortvet gives you a balance. I mean, it gives you a left-hand bat in Yankee Stadium. You don't lose anything defensively. He's 25 years old. We brought him here to be a starting catcher. He can hit. And they just need Higgy he doesn't even catch Cole well anymore. That's Trevino's job. So why not go with anyway? Anybody else?
I think Boone is just, it's familiar, right? It's just familiar, and that's it. Because there really is no other reason why.
That's my thinking. I just don't get why Brian Cashman and the analytics department are in such a hurry to give guys that didn't come through the system a shot over guys that we have drafted, developed, and know back and in and out, but they don't want to give them chances. They'd rather give guys that get cut. No. All right, back to AAA. Will Warren had a start this week. It wasn't his best start.
Actually, I don't even think he lasted 2 innings in that start.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. But those kind of things, you shouldn't be surprised by them. He's moving up a level. He's 1 step away from the major league. So there's going to be, there's going to be an adjustment period.
Yeah. Brito is probably coming back to pitch for Nestor this week. I saw his outing.
Are they sure it's Brito or have they made a decision on that yet?
I haven't seen. I just heard speculation that it was Brito.
I knew it was going to be either him or Vasquez, obviously.
Right. But they both had starts last week and both weren't too bad.
I think Brito went like 6-7 innings, gave up 3 runs. Same for Vasquez. I think he went 5, gave up 3 runs. I want to say 3 earned runs.
Yeah. I just think that I like both those 2 guys. They're not going to be all-stars or anything like that. At least that at this point, it doesn't look like it. But they both have multiple good pitches. They both have the kind of velo that if they have command, they can get away with it. I mean, if they can refine a couple of things, they can be good pitchers. Not great, but good.
Yeah, they could definitely be back end guys in the rotation who can eat innings for you. Maybe pitch to like around a 4 ERA. So I mean, they're definitely guys that you need in a rotation. Every rotation would need, right? Because you're
Right.
not going to have an ace or superstar at all 5 slots in the starting rotation.
Right. Something like a Domingo Herman in
Yeah.
a year or two is what I see them being. Andre Chaparro, how did he look in AAA this week?
He didn't have a good week. I don't have him as my top prospects of the week this week. The
Yeah.
only ones on my list for this week were Carlos Narvaez had a really good week. He hit
He did.
455. Oswald Peraza we spoke about, and Esteban Florial. That's pretty much the only guys worth that I wanted to mention at Scranton.
Elijah Dunham had a 3-hit game.
He did, but I think that was probably all. I think he had 4 hits on the week.
Yeah.
But I want to say he is looking a little bit better, especially on defense.
Yeah. And he made a really nice diving play. I saw in one of the games when he was playing center field. He can play all 3 outfield positions, and it's kind of odd because the knock on him when we signed him is that they didn't know if he had the speed to be an outfielder, and he has done a nice job.
Funny.
Yeah,
that's fun because I remember last season he was pretty much matching Volpe in stolen bases 1-for-1 for a long time.
Yeah, I like Dunham. I think he can he has a chance to be a good 4th outfielder, somebody that moves around.
Yep, agreed on that.
Okay, let's get to AA. What's going on in AA? We already touched on Jasson. Trey kind of had another week.
Yeah, it wasn't too good. Austin Wells continues to move forward.
Gosh, that guy.
I can't wait to see him move on to the next level, but he's at 263, 391. He hit a home run, 6 RBIs last week. Since he got to AA, he's hitting 270, 365, 925 OPS, 8 home runs, 26 RBIs.
They have to thin out that catcher situation in AAA so they can get him up. I really want to see a tandem of Wells and Rortvet next year. Gives you 2 premium left-hand bats at catcher, which is a big advantage. You know, Wells can frame, defend, block. He's just not going to throw out a ton of guys. I think
he's not. That's I think that's for right now. It's the only knock that you could say because he has improved tremendously on defense. Is just guys are going to run on him. Guys are going to run on him, and he's not going to be as successful as other guys. And but the thing that I tell people is like, you need him behind the plate because that bat behind the plate, it changes everything as opposed to him being in left field or at first base or at DH. I mean, it's fine to spell him at, maybe first base or DH, but from behind the plate is where he needs to be.
Gotcha. Do you think we brought this up a couple weeks ago, but it's worth mentioning? And because he's been DHing more in the lineup this last 10 days or something, do you think that they're trying to prepare him for some kind of DH role later this year? Or do you think that the DH just happens to be
I mean, it's pretty much, to me, I'm thinking it's another way to get, I think Siegler into the lineup because he has been pretty good when he's healthy. But it's just a way of getting his bat in the lineup is what I'm thinking.
I would agree with that. Everson, how was his week?
Everson, well, he was out most of the week with the injury. I haven't seen back from him. I haven't heard anything from him. I did hear that he was hurt. I forgot what they said. I think it might have been, and I don't want to say because I was just told that he said that he hurt himself and that's why they pulled him out of the game.
Okay. Who else in AA? Caleb Durbin is starting to impress me a little bit.
Yeah, he was. To me, he was the top player at Somerset last week. He hit 278, 350. He hit his first home run for the organization.
Right.
The guy plays defense, and he's just a terror on the bases.
Yeah, he's got 28, 27 stolen bases already.
I think he's second in the league in stolen bases now. Second or third.
He's just been a terror on the base paths. Trying to think. Hardman.
Hardman was another one. He had a good week. He had 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, 6 walks. So he's starting to heat up.
Yeah, he's got double-digit home runs now, right? Yeah. He's starting to hit. I don't know where he's going to end up defensively, but he can hit. Henson.
Spencer?
No, Drew.
No, I'm saying Drew.
Yeah. What's I forget.
If you're talking about Spencer Henson,
yes,
he's at Hudson.
Oh, okay. What else at AA?
Richard Fitz threw 2 games this week, 12 innings, 14 strikeouts. He was really good this week. Clayton Beater had another good game, 5 in the third, shutout innings, 3 strikeouts in that game. That's pretty much all for Somerset.
Now Fitz looks like he's turned the corner a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's had 3 or 4 good games in a row, so hopefully that is the case, because he had a rough start to the season.
He did, but it looks like he's turned the corner a little bit.
Anybody else? Hopefully he picks up a little bit more, and we can get to talk about how well he's doing, because like I said, he started off a little bit rough, and you started to wonder if it was maybe too much. Too soon.
One other guy that we should touch on, Yandry Gomes made his comeback, and he's at AA.
He pitched, I think it was on Saturday, I want to say. He went 2 2/3 inning, gave up no runs, 2 strikeouts, I believe he had.
I think it was 3.
But he's still pitching limited innings. I don't think they're going to push him past 3 innings for a while.
Yeah, but he still hasn't given up in a run in 2 starts.
Correct.
He's looked just absolutely.
And that's pretty much. It's 5 and change for him.
Yeah,
but he has looked good.
Do you think that they have to move him to a bullpen role to keep him healthy?
I don't know, because I would want to see him. I would want to see this out if he can actually stay in the rotation. Unfortunately, injuries is a problem with him. But
he's been so good when he's been on the mound.
Yes, when he's on the mound, he's money. But injuries have been a repeated issue for him.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Severino in that aspect, that when they're on the mound, they're really good, but they are hurt so often. It's hard to say that's the guy I want to rely on. Now,
that's hard.
Anybody else at AA, or can we get to the exciting stuff at High A?
We could move on to Hudson.
We have to talk about this rotation in Hudson Valley.
Before we move on to the rotation, I just want to mention real quick that the offense has been struggling since Polensky was bumped. And granted, if you're a guy who was hitting at what is he? I think he was in like 380, 390, something like that. At one point, he was leading the league like in batting average, home runs, OPS, slugging.
RBIs.
So the offense has been a little bit
stagnant.
Has dropped off. Yeah, it's dropped off. But the story at Hudson Valley is just the starting rotation. Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah. Last week it started with Zach Messenger, or not? Yeah, Messenger was the guy that got the first.
Yeah, he went 5 innings, gave up no earned runs, 9 strikeouts in that outing. And
then Juan Corella decided to say, let's play top this.
Yeah. He went 7 innings, gave up 1 run, 10 strikeouts, and I hated that they charged him with a run, because I don't know if you got to see the play. The right fielder, who I think was Aldeni Sanchez, misplayed it, and I think he charged it too hard, and then he caught him in between and got right past him, went all the way to the wall, and it was a little league home run. But I thought they should have gave him an error for that, but they didn't. So Corella gave up the 1 run, but still an amazing outing for him, 10 strikeouts.
Right. He was phenomenal. And then the very next night, our boy Chase Hampton comes out.
Chase Hampton gets on the mound. Yeah, pretty much matches him. 7 innings, 2 runs, 10 strikeouts himself.
Yeah. And in that start, he didn't have his best stuff.
He did struggle a little bit in a couple of innings, and I think a couple of double plays might have helped him out and a couple of key strikeouts. But there was a lot of traffic on the bases for him.
Right, but he seems like the pitcher that knows when he needs to get a strikeout, knows when he needs to pitch to contact, and he has the stuff to do both. He's a very, very advanced pitcher. I think he's going to be this year's version of Will Warren, where he gets 10, 12 starts in high A and then goes to double A. He's just been so good. And then on Sunday, Drew Thorpe comes out and says, you're not going to forget about me.
Yeah, he throws 8 shutout innings, 7 strikeouts, an amazing game from him.
1 hit, no earned runs on 94 pitches. He threw 8 complete innings. You don't see that in the minors very often. He's got some of the best stuff that he's a bigger kid, but the fastball isn't dominant like you would expect.
Yeah.
It's 92, 93, 94. He'll touch 95, but he's got that real short Lucas Giolito, Shane Bieber arm action that fastball jumps, and he's got pinpoint control with it. I don't know that he needs 96, 97 to be a top of the rotation type guy. I'm not saying an ace, but a 2-3 type.
I mean, he's doing it with 92, 93, right? He's pretty much racking up 8 strikeouts a night. So, I mean, he's doing something right, and that changeup is just filthy. Oh,
that changeup is absolute. I've never seen a changeup with shape like his. It doesn't really fade. It mirrors his slider, curveball, whatever it is that he throws in the low 80s. And they actually tunnel off each other, because halfway to the plate, especially on Sunday, if you watch the outing, the balls would be halfway home, and you couldn't tell if it was a changeup or a curveball slider halfway home. And the hitters were just swinging over the top of both of them. I think he's going to be a major league starter because of those 2 pitches alone. If he has elite fastball command like he's been showing, he's going to be really good.
I mean, I think he's going to be good as it is right now, right? I think that he just has a good selection, a good mix of pitches. He mixes speed well, and like you said, he has pretty good control and command. Yeah, so I could see him definitely doing pretty much the same thing at Scranton.
Yeah. If you had to pick one of those 2 or one of those 4 to say, I'm keeping this guy, I'm putting one guy in the bullpen, one guy's tradable, could you do it?
No, I probably wouldn't. I mean, the only guy that I might put in the bullpen is Messenger, and that's because that's where he came from, right? He was in the bullpen down in Tampa. Well, later on they put him in the rotation, but he was pretty much a bullpen guy.
Yeah. But
yeah, I definitely would want to keep him, see how far this goes.
Yeah, I that's where I am. I think that they're probably 4 of our best 6 starters in the system above A-ball. I don't know. What else happened in Hudson Valley? We have Vargas, who had kind of
and he had an up and down week. I think the best week came from Antonio Gomez, who hit 500. 1404 OPS, hit a home run, had an RBI, 2 extra base hits. That's probably been the best game that he went 3 for 4 Sunday, I want to say. It's probably been the best game that I've seen from him in 2 years.
Yeah, he had a double and a home run in the same game.
Right. Yep. Spencer Jones hit 308, 357. He had 5 extra base hits. And in that, I think he's the leader. Yeah, he's the leader in extra base hits, and he's second in doubles in the league. Yeah. And then Josh Bro had a pretty good week as well. He had 273. He had a home run, 2 RBIs.
Well, he should. He's 25.
Yeah, he doesn't belong there. He doesn't belong there. Absolutely not. He's just rehabbing there, and I guess they don't know what to do because, as you know, it's kind of crowded in Scranton.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something with those catching guys. There's just no room to move any of them. Anyway, what else was at high A?
And that's pretty much it.
Anthony Garcia had a big game, but
he did. He only played. He came back from. I think he was on IL. He came back. He did hit like 407, but that was 2 games. I think he only played 2 games. He had, I think, a double and a mammoth home run. That's the guy that I wish would make a little bit more contact.
Oh yeah.
Because that dude, man,
when he makes contact, they go forever from either side of the plate.
Yep.
And he walks. He has some of the strangest batting lines that I have ever seen.
He's a true 3 outcome guy, right?
Yep.
And it's weird because the year before, I think in 2001, when he first got called to Tampa, I believe he hit like 291.
I don't remember, but I know he had a really good year. And
in Tampa, he hit like 290. I believe it was Tampa. He hit 291. I don't know what happened after that.
I don't either. I was hoping he was going to be our first baseman in the future, being as big as he is, switch hitter. He doesn't really have the defensive chops to do it, but it was kind of a pipe dream.
Yeah, I mean, he's a straight up DH. Maybe play a little corner outfield.
Yeah. Yeah, if he ever puts it together. Anybody else in high A?
No, that's pretty much it.
Now we go to
I did want to mention one last thing about the rotation at high A.
Yeah.
So they threw a combined 31, almost 32 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, 41 strikeouts against a lineup that has 6 of their top 30 prospects.
Yeah. I mean, the lineup that those guys face had Jackson Holiday in it. It was the Baltimore Orioles farm system. And they are generally considered the best farm system in baseball. And every one of our guys shut them down. Yeah. And no one's done that this year to that lineup.
No. I mean, even Yuli, who gave up 5 runs in his game, but all 5 of those runs were unearned. Just a phenomenal job by the starting rotation down there against that lineup.
Yeah, it really, really was. Now, low A didn't have much of a week. They're getting hard to talk about, write about.
I mean, they had a few good games this week. Jesus Rodriguez hit 500. Jared Serna continues to be Jared Serna. He hit 346, 5 RBIs. Anthony Hall continues to hit. He hit 333, 414 OBP, home run, 8 RBIs. I mean, that's the guy that you don't really hear much about. Many people talking about him. He had a pretty good May as well. He hit 338, 948 OPS on the month. And he's striking out at 18%, walking at 16%.
Wow.
So he's making good contact. Like I said, he started off a little bit slow, but he seems to have picked it up over the last month or so.
He missed some time this spring to an injury, and maybe he's just figuring it out. He was a really advanced bat coming out of Oregon from the left-hand side.
I think he started the season on IL because in his first game, I believe, didn't he break his hamate bone?
I thought so.
In the first at bat, he got hit in the hand and he was done.
Yeah. But I think he is another promising left-handed hitting outfield prospect. I don't know what his role is going to be. I don't know. Maybe he ends up a better version of an Elijah Dunham, but I think he might have a big league future. He hits, pitch recognition is good, and they're pretty professional at bats for a kid that was just drafted.
That also reminds me, Christopher Famiglia was finally bumped up to Tampa. Makes the lineup a little bit better.
Yeah,
in my opinion. He hit 2 home runs, 4 RBIs this week or last week. So we'll see how that bodes for them. On the pitching front, Hayden Murta, another great outing for him. 6 shutout innings, 4 Ks. That's now 12 shutout innings for him, and with 12 strikeouts over the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Brock Selvich takes another step forward. He pitched 6 innings, 1 runs, 8 strikeouts. And 2 guys that I did want to mention. I mean, I think it's ready to talk about promotion for them, which is Yorlin Calderon. I don't know if many people remember him or if you remember him. He came up last year for a spot start and threw the no-hitter. This season, he's pitching to a 2.10 ERA, 1.13 WHIP, 25 innings, 31 strikeouts. And the guy that I thought was going to get a promotion last week, Luis Velasquez, another phenomenal week from him. He pitched 3 shutout innings, 9 strikeouts. On the season, he's at a 105 ERA, 25 innings, 33 strikeouts.
Now, are those guys starting or coming out of the bullpen?
No, they're bullpen guys.
Yeah. Why did they put the first guy you mentioned in the bullpen?
Yorlin?
Yeah.
I think they have him in middle relief, eating 2-3 innings at a time.
Okay. I was just impressed by his start last year, and I thought that they would keep him in that role. It's kind of been a surprise to see him go to the bullpen.
I mean, he was part of the FCL Yankees team, which won the championship. He was part of their rotation.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of a little bit surprised they moved him so quick. Now, the exciting stuff for us this week is the DSL and FCL. They started, and you and I
started yesterday.
Yeah, we've talked about a bunch about this. Our best, not best, but most talented arms are down there. You want to give us a preview of a couple of those guys?
Well, you have Carlos Lagrange, who's actually going today. I peeked a little earlier today. I know he was at 2 innings, 3 strikeouts. You also have Jordan Mendoza,
who I'm really excited about.
I'm excited about 3 of them, and then Luis Serna is there as well. I don't know why he's not on the Tampa team anymore. Maybe it was to cap his innings. Maybe he was injured. I haven't read anything about it, but I know he's there. So those are 4 guys that I'm really interested in watching.
Okay. On the position side, we have Roderick Arias, and we got some cool news right when we were coming on that he hit.
Yeah, Roderick. He had just hit a grand slam.
Yeah, and he tripled yesterday.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for somebody who people were starting to say bust about. That's a really good sign to see him. That we got some news that Brandon Maia got taken out of the game yesterday in the DSL.
Yeah, Brandon Maia yesterday was he had just doubled on his first pitch, which was his first career hit. He was stealing third base and induced a walk. And as he was sliding to third base, he just went down and stayed down. Coach came out to look after him, and he was on the ground for a little bit. I saw, and then they pulled him out of the game. I hit him up afterwards, and he did say that that he was okay. But I'm looking at the lineup today; he's out of the lineup. So I expect him to be out of the line maybe 1 or 2 days as a precaution, and hopefully that's all.
Yeah, it would really suck to lose him to
I'd rather not go through the Roderick Arias thing again, because you remember the same thing happened to him right before the season started.
Yeah, and Arias was a wrist, and he never got healthy all year.
Yeah, that was the funny thing. They said it was a minor injury. He missed half the season.
Yeah. Well, when you spend $4.2 million on a 16-year-old, you probably want to baby him like he's in bubble wrap and but it's the Yankees. One other thing I want to touch on, we've been hearing a lot about Anthony Volpe and the concerns and all that about what he's doing at the major league level, not hitting enough, not getting on base enough. The defense, we're starting to see a few lapses. What is your opinion about Anthony Volpe, Oswald Peraza, and what they need to do with those two?
Well, I went into the season thinking that Oswald Peraza was the shortstop. I thought he was the default choice. He got called up last season. He played very good defense, and he hit 300. I thought it was his job. But then Cashman wanted to make it a competition. Don't know why, when Peraza had done adequate job, but he did. And if
Peraza did it. Peraza, you got to remember, Peraza did that in real games.
Yeah.
And
that's what I was going to get at. If Cashman said this is a competition, flat out, you can't even say, even if you're a Peraza fan, Volpe won the competition, right? Because he did what he had to do in spring training. And Peraza, who for the past few seasons has been a notoriously slow starter, didn't produce when the spotlight was on him.
Right.
And unfortunately, because of that, he lost the job. And now, in my opinion, if you're going to call Volpe up like they did and give him the job out of spring training, you got to stick it out. You have to stick it out. You can't send him back to AAA because that might ruin him. That might set him back. You just have to stick it out, in my opinion. I don't know. Some people might say, well, let's wait X amount of months or until the All-Star break or something like that. And I don't know. For me, you just have to stick it out. You just have to stick out a whole season and see what happens. Because, you should have expected growing pains from him. I mean, I don't think, did you really expect him to hit 360, 370, whatever he was doing in spring training?
He was never going to
during
do
the regular season. Yeah, that wasn't him. For me, my expectation was that Volpe's the guy who's going to hit, around 250 and 25 plus home runs and steal 30 bases. That was my expectation of Volpe.
Yeah, that was pretty close to mine. And Oswald Peraza is just having an incredible season at AAA. He's showing that he was a little bit more ready of the two for Major League pitching. Do you think that with the Volpe struggles, this will cause the Yankees front office to be even more cautious and give prospects even less of a shot?
I brought that up the last time that we spoke, and I said, will this cause the front office to be a little bit more gun shy now in producing and go back to their theory of every guy has to, master every level, which I think is actually absolutely BS, because when a guy is ready. You just know that prospect is ready to come up onto the big stage. It might make the Yankees a little bit more hesitant to automatically push a guy forward if he hasn't conquered, let's say, AAA. For me, I've always thought AAA is just a holding area. You want to give a guy some exposure to them there. It shouldn't really say too much about what his future prospects are at the major league level. Because the real challenge is AA.
Right. The real challenge is AA. AAA is a finishing school, is what I always think of it as. It's where you go, you face guys who have a little bit more polish, but maybe not the raw stuff that you'd see in AA. And you just kind of refine everything at that level. And as we know, Volpe got 3 weeks last year, and we can see his mechanics are out of whack at the plate so bad. He's stepping in the bucket that he can only get to inside pitches right now. I have a concern that he is going to be able to fix that against the best pitching that he's ever seen.
I mean, you have to let him. You have to let him try to figure it out. You just have to. You can't automatically say, "Hey, demo him. Let's do that down at AAA."
I'm not calling
that's
for
going to ruin his
demotion.
confidence. No, I'm saying people in general are saying this, but because that's going to ruin his confidence, and that's only going to further, regress him.
Yeah, I think that he needs probably 3 or 4 days on the backfield in a cage with a different hitting coach or something, to get the mechanics back and then ease him back into the lineup. But running him out there when his mechanics are so bad that he's really got no chance to hit anything on the outer half or third of the plate, I think that you need to fix that, address that in some way before his confidence is completely gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that I was thinking, that, maybe you sit him for a couple of days, let him, try to relax, tell him, just relax. You don't have to be, we're not expecting for you to be a superstar. We just want you to be in there, have good at bats, and don't look completely lost, and don't chase everything that's thrown your way, and see if he figures it out, because I think he's smart enough. He's smart enough.
I do too. I think his baseball IQ is so high that he'll figure it out eventually. But you just got to give him time. You cannot say this didn't work and switch him out for Peraza at this point. I think Peraza needs to be up, but not as the shortstop right now.
Well, I would love for him to be playing third base, Peraza be playing third base right now. And I just want to say really quick that, part of me doesn't feel like the shortstop thing is over. I mean, Peraza could force the Yankees to rethink it, and maybe Volpe moves over to second base. I don't think it's over yet.
I hope it's not, because I really think that Volpe's best position is second base, and that Peraza's best position. We'll see. So, what else do we have coming from you? We've got you doing the nightly recap videos at Yankees Farm on Twitter, Instagram.
Yep, doing all the highlights. I just dropped the Carlos Lagrange video from his last tune-up start before the season started, where he struck out 9 throughout 4 2/3 shutout innings. I spoke to Henry Lane a few weeks ago. He told me he would get me some film as well. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what else I can put out there. But definitely always interested. Oh, I will put out Charlie Arias's last game. His opening game yesterday. He pitches for the Yankees DSL's team.
Mhm.
I think he went 6 shutout innings and struck out 12. So we'll be looking to post that soon.
Yeah. And guys, if you haven't subbed to Yankees Farm on YouTube, you need to, because he has got pitching prospects and videos from the DSL and FCL, guys that you are not going to find elsewhere. And they are really exciting. And you can get a view of them now before anybody else does. So check that out.